Professor William Liebenberg explains that as the world steps into the crisp autumn of 2025, President Donald J. Trump unveils the Genesis mission, a national initiative designed to accelerate scientific and engineering breakthroughs through the power of artificial intelligence. This moment echoes the boldness of the Manhattan Project and matches the scale of the Apollo-era mobilization, as the Department of Energy is ordered to build a nationwide AI super network capable of transforming every frontier of science. It isn't political theater, but a calculated ignition of American ingenuity, pushing the nation toward an era where AI doesn't merely assist, but unleashes innovation across energy, medicine, and technology in ways the world has never seen. The Genesis mission envisions a future where quantum computers decode climate systems overnight, fusion energy becomes the clean backbone of modern civilization, and medical systems predict and neutralize diseases before symptoms appear. This initiative becomes the blueprint for solving the hardest global challenges of the century, and it sparks speculation about whether Elon Musk's Grok AI, developed under XAI, may play a major role inside this massive scientific ecosystem. While the world watches headlines, the real shift is happening in the background. The formation of a new global system emerging from fragile fiat structures into stronger, more transparent foundations that tie national innovation directly to monetary reform. At the center of this global shift lies the Genesis mission, but its influence stretches far beyond laboratories and government servers as economic reforms prepare to return historic tax refunds to citizens. These are not political favors, but economic accelerators designed to ignite entrepreneurship and financial independence, serving as restitution for decades of bureaucratic overreach. Alongside this, a far more profound change gains momentum: the revival of a gold-backed financial framework, as the administration advances a strategic return to the gold standard to anchor currencies in real, immutable value rather than the shifting sentiments of central banking policy. This return to gold means currencies will no longer float on political whim or monetary manipulation, but regain stability and trust by being tied to a tangible store of value. This shift is not nostalgic, but necessary in a time when inflation, currency erosion, and experimental digital dollars have left societies vulnerable and public confidence shaken. By rooting value again in gold, wealth becomes real instead of conceptual, and economic growth can expand on transparency rather than hidden systemic distortions, allowing innovation to flourish without the fear of devaluation's shadow looming over investment and progress. To fully grasp the acceleration behind the Genesis mission, one only needs to look at Tesla, where AI-driven autonomy has already redefined how mobility, energy efficiency, and automation blend under a single evolving technological ecosystem. Tesla's breakthroughs are a preview of what a government-backed scientific AI infrastructure could achieve, from predictive systems that create self-healing highways to energy grids that stabilize themselves before failures occur. Parallel to this technological wave, a financial revolution unfolds through XRP, Ripple's high-speed settlement asset designed for precision and instant cross-border value transfer, now perfectly aligned with the global ISO 2022 messaging standard, forming the backbone of modern financial architecture. As these standards unify, XRP naturally rises as the bridge asset capable of resolving cross-border delays and inefficiencies, enabling a new financial era built on transparency, speed, and digital trust. The Genesis mission accelerates America's financial and technological dominance by integrating AI into every layer of compliance, auditing global transactions in real time, and eliminating the slow, error-ridden friction of the SWIFT era. Payments move across borders at near zero cost, with gold-backed assurances ensuring every transfer is as solid as Fort Knox, turning disruption into destiny as finance aligns with the mission's ethos of speed, security, and verifiable transparency. At the same time, energy becomes the lifeblood of this transformation, as the Department of Energy's AI colossus searches for breakthroughs in fusion and renewables. Envisioning modular reactors spread across the heartland and AI-orchestrated solar farms capable of predicting weather patterns with uncanny accuracy. From Genesis to the grid, this movement is not merely generating power but genesising abundance, cutting foreign dependence, reviving the American dream, and through GSARA eventually extending this abundance model across the world. From the Genesis mission to historic tax refunds, From a strategic return to gold-backed monetary policy to the rise of ISO 2022 as the global financial standard, the world is shifting at high speed and leaving unmistakable markers of progress. AI laboratories hum inside national parks converted into innovation sanctuaries, refunds recalibrate retirements, gold reserves gleam again as guardians of value, and ISO standards streamline what was once a splintered financial system. Yet in moments of such rapid transition, velocity breeds vertigo, reminding us that algorithms may map the stars but cannot chart the soul. The call is to stay anchored in truth, anchored in love, and anchored in God, because the return to the gold standard demonstrates that real value endures beyond volatility, rooted in creation's unchanging laws. Love becomes the divine algorithm that ensures progress serves humanity rather than replaces it, and God remains the ultimate architect whose original genesis brought light from the void and now guides our man-made dawn. The future is unfolding, but how we walk into it remains a spiritual choice between sprinting toward silos of self or striding in solidarity, as the mission equips the mind while faith fortifies the spirit, urging compassion to remain our compass even in boardrooms buzzing with blockchain and laboratories lit by laser fusion. AI's infinite horizon now unleashes a new era of accelerated innovation capable of solving the most complex problems of this century, and the Genesis mission embodies this audacity by forging a federal engine where AI tempers raw data into revolutionary steel. Climate catastrophes can be tackled as AI simulates carbon sequestration at planetary scale, pandemics become containable as predictive genomics outruns pathogens, and poverty erodes as blockchain gold hybrids democratize wealth with XRP functioning as the high-speed express lane. This phase is not incremental but exponential, driven by a U.S. Energy Department network that will dwarf the Apollo moonshot in scope and eclipse the Manhattan Project in stakes. Partnerships emerge as Tesla's Optimus bots join forces with Grok's reasoning to engineer habitats on hostile worlds, XRP's Rails fund and fuel new fusion facilities, and gold provides the immutable monetary backbone, ensuring investments yield lasting returns rather than temporary echoes. No great odyssey unfolds without storms, and the Genesis mission must confront AI's double-edged nature, where empowerment carries the risk of peril. Data privacy requires gold standard encryption that is immutable and auditable. Job displacement must be countered with retraining powered by AI tutors and funded through tax refunds that become stepping stones for lifelong learning. And geopolitical tension must be softened through ISO 2022's neutral architecture paired with gold's universality, disarming the old model of dollar diplomacy. On the ethical front, humanity must anchor itself in love so that algorithms do not atrophy empathy, because intelligence without conscience becomes hollow. The vision guiding this transition insists that innovation must be paired with moral clarity, coding must be tempered with conscience, and even Grok's humor serves as a reminder that intelligence without soul is sterile. Beyond America's borders, the Genesis mission sends ripples through every continent as allies align on new AI accords while adversaries begin auditing their arsenals to match the accelerating pace of innovation. The return of gold stabilizes global supply chains, XRP lubricates humanitarian aid flows with instant settlement, and energy exports empower the global south as nations once dependent on fragile systems suddenly gain leverage through abundance. ISO 2022 becomes the universal language of a multipolar economy where BRICS and the West transact with shared trust instead of hidden tension, and the mission's AI becomes a global good, open-sourced where appropriate and guaranteed by gold to prevent corruption or greed from distorting its purpose. The Genesis mission is not an endpoint but an embarkation, a fusion of AI's fire with gold's gravity, Tesla's torque with XRP's velocity, energy's essence with the steadying force of faith. This journey carries us from the ignition of the introduction to the boundless horizons of innovation, all while demanding that we anchor ourselves in truth as the world accelerates. The shift is rapid, but each individual still holds the helm, rooted in truth, buoyed by love, and guided by a higher perspective. The return to the gold standard becomes the keystone crowning this cathedral of change, providing constancy amid transformation, and reminding us that while technology reshapes systems, the human heart ultimately transcends them. Walk boldly into the unfolding future, for the new era does not emerge despite God but through Him. And in this dawn of a renewed world, we are invited not merely to endure the light, but to dance in it as the Genesis becomes ours to claim.